This is my medieval village, which I have been working on for the last 9 episodes in my Forever World. During that time, we have made some gradual updates to it, taking it from a simple 5-house village and adding in more houses and different upgrades and a castle and lots of other details. But even though we have made a lot of progress with this village so far, today we are going to be taking it even further. So let's get started. Welcome back, everyone. Today's episode is going to require me to do a lot of work because I have a pretty significant project that I want to do that is really going to transform the entire area, not only around the village, but also inside the village as well. And this is a project that I have been thinking about ever since I started working in this area. And what we are going to be doing today is transforming this border area around the village. One of the reasons why I picked this location to build the village was because it had these cliffs, and I really liked the idea of having the village founded in the center of it and almost protected by the cliffs. But I think we could take this terrain and make it look even better. So I've spent about 10 hours this week picking out different colors and shapes and really working to try to make a terrain that's a little bit more unique. And I'm really happy with what I've come up with. And today we are going to focus on getting it built. This is going to be a pretty time-intensive project because not only are we going to be building a lot of terrain, we also need to do a little bit of work of flattening some of these areas out, filling in some areas, and obviously we're going to have to collect a bunch of resources too. Knowing how much work was going to go into this, I did some work on streams to be able to do a little bit of preparation, and hopefully this is going to help us today. So the first thing that I did was go to the end, and we have this ender chest which has a bunch of stuff. So you can see here we've got shulker boxes. Not only do we have shulker boxes, but we also have an elytra, and having an elytra and shulker boxes will definitely save me a lot of time with moving all of the resources into this area. But not only did we go to the end, I also went out and got a bunch of these coral blocks, and we're going to be using the coral blocks with some of the terrain that we're going to be building. So I think I'm going to get my ender chest squared away, and then we can get started with our project for today. So I now got this shulker box, which has got all of the essential tools that I'll need, and we'll be able to carry that around with us. We'll put that into the ender chest. We've got all of these empty shulker boxes, which we're going to be filling with resources today. Now let's take a look at what the plan will be for our project. So from up here on the AFK platform for our gunpowder farm, we have a pretty good view of our medieval village, and this gives us a good idea of what we're going to be working on. What I want to do is go through and take all of the terrain all the way around here, and we're going to be completely changing this to something brand new. But we're not going to stop there. We're also going to do a little bit of work with the terrain around the border of our farmland here. We're also going to be expanding this village. We're going to be adding in some more houses. We're going to be making some pretty significant changes. And by the time we're done, this area, I think, will be completely finished. So I think we're going to break down this project into 3 steps. First, we're going to clear out the terrain that we don't want. Then we're going to get the resources that we do want. And then finally, we're going to build everything. So let's trade with some villagers to repair up our tools, place down the beacon, and get to work. Start to see the direction that we're going to be taking with the terrain. I did clear out a lot of the cliff that was right here, but we're going to be keeping the ones along the back, making them a little bit more dramatic. And we've ended up with a lot of stone and dirt from all of the terrain that we cleared out. I think we're going to end up using most of it, if not all of it today as well. We're just going to be putting it in a slightly different order. But with the terrain cleared out, it's now time to start collecting all of the resources that we're going to need. And that is going to require just a little bit of work because there are several types of resources that we're going to need to collect that are slightly out of the ordinary. Or I should say they're slightly out of the ordinary for this area that we've been working on, because we're going to need things like basalt, which we've not used in this area, and acacia wood, which is also something we've not used in this area. We are also going to need to get a lot of leaves, and for leaves, I think we should check to see whether or not the hoe that I have has silk touch on it. And if not, yep, Of course, it has fortune on it. That's just perfect. So I guess we'll grab a couple of diamonds and craft up a couple of diamond hoes, because that's definitely the best use for my diamonds. Trade with some villagers again, buy some enchanted books, and apply them to the diamond hoes. In addition to collecting the leaves, we are also going to need to get a bunch of basalt. And one thing that I'm wondering is whether or not I should create just a simple little basalt generator, because I think that might be easier than going into the nether and trying to collect all the basalt we're going to need. So I now have everything I need to build the basalt generator, and we're going to build this where we've got our moss farm and the super smelter. I think this area right here will be plenty to get it built. That space wasn't enough room, so I ended up building it over here, but it's now all ready to go. I think that means we're ready to get started collecting all of the resources we're going to be using, which I don't have an exact count for, but it's going to be a lot. So let's get started. I think we now have all of the blocks collected up and crafted up, and that took a long time. I spent about 15 hours collecting blocks. That was an entire day's worth of work, and I have the blocks laid out in these chests right here. Now, it does look a little bit messy, but there is an order to the madness. Over here, we've got the blocks which are going to be used for the terrain around the city. So we've got polished basalt, we've got acacia wood, we've got the coral blocks. We're going to be using the dead variant, so it's going to be gray in color, not this yellow and red. We've got gravel, we've got cracked stone bricks, we've got tough blocks, stone blocks, and andesite blocks. On top of these, we're going to be putting in some other blocks as well. So we've got green terracotta, green wool, and moss blocks. Those are going to be creating some of the vegetation. But that's not all we're going to be doing. We're also going to be adding in leaves. So we've got some jungle leaves and azalea leaves, and then a whole bunch of oak leaves. Once we get the terrain built, though, we're going to be adding in some walls. And the walls are going to be similar to what we did with the castle. So we've got all of those blocks right here. And then once the walls are built, we're going to be adding in some more buildings. So we've got the blocks for those buildings in these chests here. But now that we have all of the blocks collected, it's time to start placing those blocks. We've got about 60 to 70,000 blocks to place, and that's going to take a while. We better get started. we're back on top of the AFK platform, and what was a short amount of time for you was about 32 hours for me, but I think it was well worth the time. I may be the slowest builder, but in the end, we came up with a pretty good result. And I think that being up here gives us the best view of all of the work that was accomplished here. But as much as we're able to see from up here, I think we should also drop down and take a little bit of a closer view of everything that we've got going on here. Like the rocky seashore, which maybe has a little bit too much coral. I just had a lot of fun placing it, so I kept going. Or we could take a look at this approach into the city, which I think makes a huge difference from what we had before. It's a lot more established. It feels like you're going into something pretty grand with these fire pillar things at the front. And since I don't know the technical name for those, we're going to stick with fire pillar things. So we've got some more fire pillar things here. We've got another fire pillar thing right here. We've got another fire pillar thing right here. There's a couple more here, a couple more over here. And then we have these nice little lookouts that we can take a look at the world around us as well. Once we're done looking out at the world, though, we can head into the city through the city gates. And this is a lot more open than what we had before. So the original village is right down here, but we also have this new area up here, which comes with some custom trees, a fountain, a lot more houses, a really big custom tree, and this staircase down into the original village area. As we're walking through here, you may notice that I've switched out all of the path blocks because I think having stone blocks through here is going to make it feel just a little bit more established. The path blocks were good when we had a village, but this is a city now, so stone is necessary. We've also got the second city gate over in this quarter, and I think that it works pretty well in between these two cliff sides. We've got to make sure our city is well fortified, so we can't just have anybody walking through. One thing that I've kept from our original design in the village are these two towers over here, which really don't serve a function, as I went ahead and removed the path that went through here and put in a wall to guard this back area to the village. But I thought it'd be interesting to keep these as just a nice reminder for what this village used to look like. But as we fly up, you can take a look at the village behind me and our castle on the hill. All of the cliffs are in place, and this area is looking very much like a completed project. I mean, just take a look at this area on this side. Nobody is going to be able to scale these cliffs. Although I guess they could just fly over them if they had an elytra. Didn't quite think about that when I was planning it out. These cliffs are looking very insurmountable, but what's happening over here? Did I miss some blocks? Oh no. Some more blocks. Let's just quickly do that and that. There we go. That's looking much better. But I think that is enough of looking at this project. We have seen just about everything there is to see here. I am so happy that we have been able to get this project finished. We are all done with this area. I don't think that there is anything more that I'm going to be adding here. The idea behind this project was inspired by games like Age of Empires, where when you upgraded the age for your civilization, you would get slightly fancier buildings and slightly fancier gear. So I did that in Minecraft. We started out using wood tools and then advanced to stone tools and iron tools and diamond tools, and then finally netherite tools. And as we were doing that, we were also upgrading our buildings. So the first few houses that we built were pretty simple, but as we upgraded our gear, we also upgraded the houses as well. And then once we reached the stage behind me, we started adding in even more houses, and then we were starting to customize some of the other areas. So we built up the castle, and then today we did the entire terrain all around it. And I think we could call this project a huge success. But now that this project is finished, it's going to be a little bit sad because we are going to be leaving this behind and returning back to our primary base location. I know it probably seems a little ridiculous to spend all that time in this area building up this whole project only to leave it all behind. But I have everything collected up in these shulker boxes that I want to take with me. My ender chest is filled with shulker boxes with items. We're going to be taking a lot of our stuff with us as we leave this area, and we're going to say goodbye to return back home. Yes, we've got the nether portal here, which will take us to the nether roof, and we now have to fly 3,000 blocks until we return back to our home base It feels so good to be back here. I've missed having these buildings. Well, these are some of my favorite projects behind me. We're going to be working in this area next time. I've got some exciting plans that we're going to be doing as we get back to work finishing up this city. But until then, thank you so much for joining me. It's been great having you here. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a like. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And until next time, see you later.